I'm very pleased to welcome former Fort McMurray Oil Baron Ryan Allen. Ryan played in parts of 5 seasons with the Oil Barons and another 5 seasons with Brock University. Following university, Ryan jumped right into the coaching leagues, such as the AJHL, Alberta Cup, CSSHL, WCCC, and is now the Technical Director of GPAC, and that is Grand Peace Athletic Club in Grand Prairie. Thank you, Ryan, for joining me on Enjoy the Grind.
Awesome, Jace. Thanks for having me, buddy. I'm excited.
Same. Okay, so we would now jump right into the questions. You were born and raised in Fort McMurray, but prior to you making the Oil Barons, you played for Fort Saskatchewan Rangers under 15 AAA team. Can you tell me about your time with the Rangers? How old were you when you made that team?
Jeez, so that was I was a second-year Bantam, and so back then I must have been, or I was 15 or 14, I guess, and it was good. It was a fun experience, obviously, moving away from home for the first time was a little nerve-wracking for sure, but I actually didn't live right in Fort Saskatchewan. I lived in a little town called Smoky Lake with a buddy of mine, Chad Scarf, and his family. About an hour from Fort Saskatchewan, so we would drive to practices and games, and went to school in Smoky Lake, obviously. So no, it was good. It was a good league back then. It was called the AJHL, and our team was okay. We made provincials. Didn't do so well in provincials, but overall, great experience for sure.
How was your first AJHL camp trying out for the Barons?
Oh man, again, yeah, I must have been. So yeah, I was 15 for that one, and I can recall obviously being very nervous, being a skinny rail at 120 pounds, 5'8" or 5'7". So definitely very very timid. I can recall too getting ran over by 19 and 20-year-olds, getting blown up and the gloves and the stick flying. But it was a lot of fun, and I think actually I may hold the record for most Oil Barons camps, because I obviously went from 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So did a few of those in my day for sure. But no, it was a good experience.
I see the following 2 years you were a part of the Oil Barons and played 8 games the first year and 7 games the next. Were you playing with another team those years also, or was it just tough to crack the game day roster?
Yeah, so a bit of both. I was so then back then midget was 3 years. So when I was 16, I was playing midget there at home in Fort Mac as well as 17, and both years I was an affiliate player or an AP, and obviously at that time Gord Thibodeau was up there. I'm sure you know him. He was a coach and GM, and they had some good teams. So definitely twofold. I was playing there in Fort Mac, but also it was hard to crack the lineup. And finally the following year I made it as a full time guy, and yeah, it was good.
In 2004-05, you had a great season. What did you have to add to your game to become a full-time?
Yeah, back then the fitness aspect, the working out wasn't as big as it is now. But certainly, again, I go back to I was a smaller guy, and did my best in the summers to at least get stronger. Maybe not bulk up and put on weight, but certainly just get stronger. Hips down with the legs, and harder on the puck and stronger on the puck. That was a big thing. I was lucky enough. I could think the game pretty good. So whatever I didn't have in size, I tend to use with my smarts, so to speak. But yeah, that would be the biggest thing. We're just trying to be overall stronger.
You guys won the AJHL championship in 05-06 against Camrose Kodiaks. Can you describe the playoffs and what it felt like winning the championship?
Oh, well, you know what? It was, we had a couple, 3 long playoff runs when I was in Fort Mac. And the beauty about the 05-06 year was we actually, we had lost to Camrose in Game 7 the year before. And as a matter of fact, we were up in that series 3-1, and they rattled off 3 in a row and beat us. So it was nice the following year to beat them in Game 6, and even more sweeter, it was in their barn, the old Max McLean. So that was pretty cool. And even more so, I was lucky enough to be on the ice when we scored the winning goal. And yeah, it was just mayhem. It was crazy. In terms of the playoff runs themselves, I mean, you're playing every second night. You're not practicing. All practices are optional, and it's certainly, it's a grind, much like your YouTube channel and your show. But a grind was certainly, obviously, well worth it in the end. And I wouldn't change anything for all 4 of those playoff runs. So.
You accumulated 119 points in 170 AJHL games. Can you describe one of your all-time favorite moments playing for the Barons?
Good question. Like I said, there's so many. I mean, winning the championship was awesome. Of course, that same year we got a chance to play in the Doyle Cup. I played against a guy by the name of Kyle Turris. I can recall trying to chase him around the ice and stop his quick release shot. So that was pretty cool playing against them. Him and his team in Surrey. We obviously lost to them in 6 games. So that was a pretty cool moment. I guess I'll give you 2 more moments. I can go on forever, but when I scored my 50th goal in Drayton Valley, that was pretty cool. But the one that stands out besides the championship, I was fortunate enough, my 20-year-old year, I've got a brother, Corey, and we had a chance. We played about 4 games together on that year. He was 60 and I was 20, and that was pretty cool. It's certainly, once in a lifetime. So we got some pictures and, some videos and different things made up. But yeah, that obviously, would never happen again except at juniors. So yeah, that one stands out. Playing with him was pretty awesome, and even more so, we were on the same line for those 4 games. So yeah, that was pretty cool, no question.
Yeah, that must have been cool playing with your brother.
Absolutely, man.
After your junior A career, you went on to play university hockey in St. Catharines, Ontario. How did you end up at Brock playing for the Badgers?
This could be a long-winded response. I'll try and keep it short, buddy. So actually, I was committed to University of Lethbridge, U of L. All was good. My dad and myself actually, we bought a condo in Lethbridge, and we were all set up. And so we go down there, last weekend of August, and we moved myself in. Everything's good for the first 2 weeks. So now we're almost into mid-September. The coach at the time, I won't use his name, but he calls me in his office and he says, we've got a guy coming back from pro. He just got cut from some pro team, but he's coming to play for us, and he's going to take your spot. And obviously, I was very shocked and dumbfounded. Here I am. I'm committed. I'm going to school, taking classes, enrolled in the university, and all of a sudden, I'm not going to be on the hockey team. So, he suggested, and I laugh now, he suggested for me to stick around Lethbridge and play junior B, which obviously I wasn't a fan of. I wanted to go to school and play hockey. So, lucky enough, going back to Gord Thibodeau, I called him because we had to revisit some of the schools that we had already talked to, St. FX and I think St. Mary's, Laurier in the same league as Brock and of course Brock. So Gord got on the horn, and Murray Nystrom, who was my coach for the 5 years at Brock, took a chance on me, saw me play once. Just so happened the same kind of thing happened out at Brock. They cut a guy who came back to camp, out of shape and just not there for the right reasons. So Murray had a spot with Brock. I've got family in Ontario as well, so it was good. It was a good fit there. But so I left Lethbridge, the next day after the news, pretty much, for a couple of days. Went out to Brock, and like I said, Murray gave me an opportunity, and the rest is history, of course. So that's the long and the short of it.
What was it like coming from AJHL to the Youth Sport League?
Yeah, you always think of when we were, I think of when I was 15, 16, in junior going against, 19, 20-year-olds, same kind of thing, except, I think now or then at 2021, now you're going against, 24, 25-year-olds, and obviously bigger, stronger men now. Not so much, young teens or adolescents. So that was the biggest thing again was a strength thing. And, even at this time, I'm only wherever I was, 150, 160 pounds. So it was tough. Again, it was a grind going against the bigger guys. And back then the game wasn't speed, skill, finesse like it is now. It was a little more clutch and grab, and a lot more slashing and those kinds of things. A little more dirtier, which was fine by me. So that'd be the biggest thing. Is just the difference between the strength of the guys you play against.
Did you guys have a rivalry team that you played against, kind of like Edmonton versus Calgary Battle of Alberta?
Oh yeah, no, and in that league, it's called the OUA. Sorry, most teams are only an hour, 2 hour bus drive away, so everybody's in the same area. But if I had to pick one, it would be the Western Mustangs. We just always we played them out of the 5 years I was there. I think we played them 3 times for sure in the playoffs, and only beat them once. But that was the rivalry. I didn't like them even more so because they had purple jerseys, and the second thing is they had horses on their socks, Mustangs, right? So I wasn't a fan of their jerseys and stuff. So definitely, we had some battles with them for sure.
I saw in Elite Prospects your first year with the Bandits, you guys played one game for the University Cup. How does the University Cup work?
Yeah, so that year, that was my first year after again moving from Lethbridge and coming kind of almost 3 weeks into the season. We had a great team, and that was actually the only year we beat Western. But anyways, what happens is in the OUA when you get through the playoffs, which is 3 rounds, there's an Ontario team and a Montreal team, like McGill or Carleton. Those there's 2 conferences, or there was, and so we won our conference. So as soon as you win your conference, you play the winner of the other conference. So in that case, that year it was McGill, and it's just it's a one game thing. So 1 game, winner take all. But regardless, if you win or lose, both teams go off to nationals. So we actually lost that game 4-1. McGill was a great team, and so both teams went to nationals against the University Cup. I want to say that year it was out in Moncton, New Brunswick. So obviously I had to fly there and stuff. But anyways, we ended up playing. We made it there with ourselves, McGill, Moncton, UNB, Saskatchewan, and our U of S and U of A, and all powerhouse teams. For us at Brock, that was the first year in school history a team ever made to the University Cup. So we played double knockout. So pretty much you lose twice and you're out. So we played UNB first, who was ranked first in the nation all year. Lost to them 6-1, and then we played U of S the next game and lost to them 4-1. So there were some good teams, and looking back, it was great to get there, but we were certainly outmatched. But overall, like anything, a real good experience. And I think only since then, that was 07-08, there's only been one other Brock team to qualify for nationals. So pretty cool.
Your last year at Brock, you were selected as assistant captain. That must have meant a lot to you.
Yeah, no, for sure. Actually, I was actually lucky the last 2 years I was. So that was pretty cool. And yeah, it was just nice to just to not honor, but sort of lead off of what the guys before me, their kind of legacy and the foundation they built in terms of leadership and Brock and the program and the culture. So when you're officially named one of the captains, it makes it real easy to be a leader when you've had so many different guys teach you along the way. So definitely an honor for sure.
What degree did you get, and was it hard juggling hockey and school during university?
So I got a Bachelor of Physical Education with honors, which is exactly what I wanted to do. Going back to I always wanted to, or I had a good inclination. I wanted to be a coach, so that kind of tied right in. If nothing else, it could have been a phys ed teacher. But anyways, it wasn't it wasn't that hard looking back to juggle both school and hockey. Again, when you go there as a freshman or first year, you have people there who outside of your coaches, you've got teammates and people who guide you through it. Guidance counselors, whatever it might be. Professors. And we used to practice in the mornings and work out in the evenings, and in between that was school. But I tell you what, you're on your own. Mom and dad aren't there to help you. You definitely mature quick. But like I said, it was a lot easier when you're surrounded by so many good experienced people.
Okay, so with your playing days winding down, when did you know you wanted to become a coach?
Good question. Yeah, I would say certainly probably my fourth, maybe start of my fifth year at Brock. I mean, at that point for me, I knew I wasn't going to go to the NHL, and I wasn't a big fan of trying to bounce around the East Coast leagues and semi-pro and stuff. And I knew that. I knew my time playing was done. So definitely wanted to give back. So yeah, I think that my fifth year, I enjoyed it. We had we lost in the second round in playoffs, and then from there, not a regret, but I had an opportunity to go over to England, Division II or Division III, not the top one obviously, and maybe play it. I never did. Some days I wish that I might have tried that, but again, shoulda, coulda, woulda. I want to get into coaching, so yeah. From there, I went back home to Fort Mac and got into coaching.
In 2012, you started behind the Barons bench as an assistant. It must have been a bit different for you to be standing in the bench as a coach instead of a player.
Yeah, no, it certainly was, and even more surreal. Like that's the same team that I played for as a player, as you know. But yeah, it was an adjustment, and even more so. I just turned 25 at the time, and so for some of those guys, I'm only at that time I was only 5 or 6 years older than some of those guys, so still close in age to some of our players on our team. So it was certainly it was different, but at the same time grateful to have the opportunity and to be able to coach. And it was good seeing seeing Gord, Thibodeau on both ends of the spectrum. So because I had him as a player when I was a coach, or when I was a player, he was my coach, and then when I started coaching, I was coaching with him. So I got to see him in both views, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, you were also selected to coach Team Northeast of the Alberta Cup twice. I see you had players like Carter Hart and Sam Steele on the 2012-13 squad. How were you selected to coach these teams? Yeah,
so you just submit an application through Hockey Alberta to their selection committee, and then you choose what job you're looking for, head coach, assistant coach, whatever it might be, and then you go through the process. And my first year, I was an assistant under a guy by the name of Sean Bassell, who's actually he's a head coach at OHA Edmonton. They're in the city. And the following year, I did the same thing. Applied as a head coach. That year, and was fortunate enough to get it. And we had some good players. We had Cale Clegg in there as well, who's pretty close to making LA. So definitely easier to coach those teams when it comes to Alberta Cup, because it's the best 160 athletes in the province. So, and we were fortunate enough, we won the gold the first year, and then won the silver the next year. So some good teams.
Yeah, well, that must have been very cool to be able to be a part of that.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. And like you said, like you brought up, Sam Steele and Carter Hart, and who would have ever thought they'd be, future NHLers. So, here you are, or here they are, and it's kind of cool that, I coached them for a brief time.
Yeah. After moving on from coaching for McMurray Oil Barons, you spent one season with Drayton Valley Thunder as an assistant GM and associate coach. What was your year like with the Thunder?
Well, it was interesting. It was interesting. Obviously, the time of Fort Mac had ended, and we moved and tried to sell our house, and so we're in Drayton Valley. It was good. It went by quick. I mean, like I said, it was only a year. Obviously, I lost my dad that year too, so that played into it a little bit as well, just in terms of emotions and feelings, and we're already going through change. Leaving your hometown, Fort Mac, for the second time really outside of Fort Saskatchewan. So a lot of change, a lot of adjustments, and honestly, we weren't a very good team. I think we were second or third last in the North Division, but overall, still a very positive experience. I was fortunate enough for the last 2 months of that season. I want to say the last 6 regular season games, and then the first round of the playoffs. I was actually the board fired the current head coach GM, and so I was lucky enough to be named the interim head coach GM for those last 2 months, and it was good. It was fun. It's always nice to sit in the big chair, when you get that opportunity. So no, like I said, win-loss wise, maybe it wasn't the best that way, but man, I learned a lot that year, just about myself and the game and coaching, and it was really good.
After Drayton, you joined the OHA Edmonton Bantam Prep team as an assistant coach. What was it like coaching Bantam compared to junior hockey?
Yeah, no, it was definitely like anything was adjustment. Now we're coaching 13, 14-year-olds as opposed to 17 to 20. So I think it was adjustment. In terms of the teaching and allowing the kids and showing the kids what to do. That was it takes them a little bit longer to process just because of the age gap and the maturity and stuff. But it was good. Like going back to the Alberta Cup teams, it was nice to have have coached those couple of teams to get a sense of what kids are like at that age. So it was definitely an adjustment. But again, it was good. It was a coach or a group of kids that age. I never actually coached for a full hockey season. So, and again, talking about good people and players, fortunate enough off of that team was, Caden Gooley and Brandon Dubinsky and Bodie Hagen, and, the list goes on. So, again, when you're working with, good people and good athletes, it tends to make your job a little bit easier.
Do you like coaching Bantam more than junior?
Oh man. I don't know. I like doing it all. I think now that I'm a little bit older, the bantam, the U15 AAA is really grown on me. So I like both. I can't really choose one. I think obviously right now, also being fortunate enough to be the head coach up here for GPAC for the U15 AAAs. I think right now it's that group, but I certainly like coaching the older guys as well.
In the 2016 season, you were the video coach of the WCCC 16. For those that don't know, is the Western Canada Challenge Cup. This team was stacked. I see Kirby Dock, Peyton Krebs, Dylan Holloway, Bowen Byram, just to name a few. What was it like working with these guys?
Yeah, a fantastic experience. I know I've been really fortunate to have worked with a number of excellent gifted players and coaches. But yeah, again, when it comes to skill with that group, they had it all. Skill, toughness, speed, you name it. And I think with that group in particular, Jace, they were just really receptive to wanting to get better, to teaching, to systems. Because in a short-term competition, you have to get your team together and trust as soon as possible, right? So, because they had some swagger, they were all the best players. So, when they get 20 of the best players now in the province, how are they going to gel together? How does that work? So, you would think first off, guys may want to go their own separate ways and be on their own page, but there's a reason why we won. Yes, we had some skill, like I said, but the players are receptive in what we're trying to do, and they bought into the plan. But yeah, again, you see all those guys going to be, or they all are in the NHL now. So again, pretty cool to have worked with that group.
Did you get a gold medal?
Yeah, I got a gold medal. Maybe I'll, if I think about it, when I send you the pictures, I'll try and send one of the team maybe.
OHA Edmonton announced you as the first head coach ever for the Elite 15s. What was it like being a part of the inaugural season for the Elite 15s in the CSSHL?
Again, great experience. You're always, when you get a chance again to be the guy in your first kind of official, head coaching job, it's for me, it was what I always wanted to do. So, yeah, it was awesome. I think too, again, that year our team wasn't that good. But just a great experience to work with some of those kids and even being that league. I mean, it's you see now how much has taken off and how big it is, the sports school league, and they've done a really good job. So fortunate and enough to be able to coach in it and learn again from lots of different people.
Is it a lot of traveling as your league is spread out across Alberta, BC, and Manitoba?
Yeah, no, for sure. And, we were lucky enough, I think, not that year, maybe the following year or the year after, but we started, because what they do in that league, I'm sure you know this, but they have showcases. So, 3 or 4 game weekends in Winnipeg or Calgary or Saskatchewan. But anyways, we were lucky enough to fly everywhere we went. Besides, we were in Edmonton, so we would bus to Calgary, but everywhere else we would fly. So that must have been year 2 or 3, because the first year we bus to Penticton and Winnipeg and all these different Notre Dame and Saskatchewan. So it was a bit better travel wise when we started to fly in years 2 and 3. That was pretty cool, actually.
You were a head coach there for 2 years. Do you have a favorite memory of your time there?
Oh, geez. Favorite memory. We had so my second year as the head coach, we had a a real strong team. And I think that year we ended up finishing, I think, 4th or 5th place. We were 17 and 2. But what I can recall from that year, we started the year, I believe, I want to say 4-0 or 5-0. And we came out of the gate, guns a-blazing, and everything was clicking. And so I'd say just starting the year like that was pretty cool. Starting out, not losing in 4 or 5 games.
After you left OHA, you accepted the role as the Technical Director of GPAC and are also the head coach of the U15 AAA team. How do you like Grand Prairie in your current role?
You know what? It's been really, really awesome. Really cool. We love it here. Obviously with my family, the kids, lots of things to do. With gymnastics, swimming, hockey. Obviously with COVID, not so much right now, but it's a great community. It's been really good. The people here are awesome, and honestly, I always tell people it's very similar to Fort Mac. And I always knew that. You always hear things growing up, but until you actually come here and live here, you'll definitely notice some similarities. I do always say, though, I don't want to slight our hometown, but I always say that Grand Prairie has got better restaurants and better shopping. So hopefully I don't get grilled for that. But no, it's good. Like I said, they're both good communities, and we're really happy and fortunate to be here and living here and be a part of the community.
So what exactly do you do as a technical director of a hockey organization?
It's funny, I can barely say technical myself, so I always just say director because I have a hard time saying it. But basically, buddy, I coach coaches, so I manage the players as well. But basically, I help and guide and mentor our coaches for them to facilitate things down to the players. So we've got 7 teams here in Grand Prairie, 4 midget, or I guess 3 U15, 2 U16, and 2 U18, and 15 coaches, and basically it's kind of foresee the whole program, what we're doing for development on the ice, our off ice training, our mental prep, the finances, budgets, pretty much. I'm tied to it all, which is really cool to kind of come here and put your stamp on GPAC. And before I even got here, Grand Prairie is known to have some fantastic hockey players in Grand Prairie and around the surrounding communities, and there was already a good foundation laid within GPAC before I got here. So yeah, basically just foresee the whole program, make sure it goes smoothly, and we develop kids.
So you're a busy guy then, hey?
Yeah, man, doesn't stop. The phone is on 24/7.
What age do you guys start to seriously look at players, and what do you look for in players?
Well, it's funny you say that because when were you born? 2009. So you'll be
09.
You'll be a first-year Bantam here coming up in a year. So because the Pee-wee age kids are coming to our program, we look at the second-year Pee-wees and even the first-year Pee-wees, and we're trying to create that that pipeline from the Pee-wees who are called the Knights here, but the Pee-wee Knights going into the GPAC Storm. But again, like anything in most associations across the province, under the elite stream, you're seeing a lot of the Adams as well, and the Pee-wees all kind of be under the same umbrella. So if we can, we're going to add for this year our Pee-wees under the GPAC umbrella, and hopefully in a year from now we're going to add the U11s or the Adams as well. So I guess Adams really, when it gets you're watching, but you're not really recruiting at Adam. You know what I mean? It's more or less to see who's coming through. But certainly at Pee-wee, when kids get older and after the second year PB, the next step is GPAC. We want to make sure we've got a good handle on who's coming through and, who's going to sports schools, who's not, who's going to the HSL, right? So, I would say in the PWH for sure.
Have you seen my name come across the desk yet?
I can't say that I have, but you know what? When I was talking to your dad the other day, he mentioned you made the HSL team, and good for you and congratulations. That's awesome. But like I said, I know you're an 09 now, so I'm not going to lie to you. You're on our radar for sure. On the radar, no question.
Well, thank you.
No problem.
Okay, time for some fun. I'm going to ask you a few more questions that I like to ask all my guests. So hockey is a game of nicknames. Do you have any nicknames that the boys used to call you?
Yeah. So I'll tell you, I don't know why. Way back when, I used to be called Stix, STIX. Again, I have no idea why. And then I guess because my last name is Allen, there's variations. So I've been called mostly nowadays by my closer friends, either Al's, Alzy, and that's pretty much it, either Al's or Alzy or Allen. So yeah, kind of boring, but that's stuck with me for how many years now. So yeah.
Do you have a favorite coach that you like to play for and why?
Good question. Yeah, well, you know what? It's really hard to pick just one. I think about, obviously, lucky enough, my dad was my favorite coach, even though, I hated always being the example, and I hated the guy who had to serve penalties or the guy who had to sit on the bench. But looking back now, I'm so grateful for what he did for me with hockey when he coached me all the way from Tum Thumb to Pee Wee. Gord Thibodeau, of course, who coached me in junior, Tom Keka, even Fran Gao never coached me, but certainly he's been a real big mentor in my life. Good friends with my dad, and honestly helped me get this job here in Grand Prairie. He was the head coach GM here for the Storm when I was playing in Fort Mac, and he almost figured out a trade for me from Fort Mac to Grand Prairie, but I don't think Gord allowed it. But there's multiple. I mean, even Don Shump, who coached me for 8 years, and back then it was called summer hockey for the NAA. So all those guys. There's probably a lot. There is a lot more for sure. So lots of people, good people.
Yeah. Who is the best player you ever played with or against?
Holy. That is a good question. I would say played against, probably Kyle Turris. He was pretty good. Another actually, Kyle Chipchura. He was a good player as well. So I'd probably say those two guys.
Who is the best player that you ever coached?
You know what? Oh God! Again, so many. But when I think about it, two come to mind just because they're also, forget them being good players. They're really excellent kids and easy to coach. So, and you already mentioned them, but I got to go with Sam Steele and Caden Gooley. And it's even better because I still keep in touch with those two guys. Not a lot, but we had Caden on for a Zoom call this past winter, talking to our players up here in Grand Prairie. But I would say those two guys because, again, great people, or great players, but even better people for sure, and still are to this day.
Do you have a hockey memory that stands out to you?
Probably my first AJHL game as a 16-year-old. That stands out. And then for whatever reason, my last game at 20 years old with the Oil Barons, we lost in I think it was game 4 in the playoffs against Fort Saskatchewan. And yeah, my dad was there, and I remember him saying it was hard to watch me leave the ice for the last time at Fort Mac. So yeah, probably those two things, I guess. Yeah, the first game as a 16-year-old, and then my last as a 20-year-old.
Do you think hockey is better now or better during the early 2000s?
I think it's obviously, like I mentioned, it's insanely speed, skill, power, finesse nowadays. I mean, some of the things that these guys are doing at a high level is crazy. And athletes are just in such good shape now to help that. But yeah, I like both. I mean, when I played, when I was slowly getting out of it in the university, the game was changing to what it is now, the speed and skill. But I certainly, when I was growing up in 14, 15, 16, and in junior, the old clutch and grab and the slashing and taking half an hour to finish the last 2 minutes of the game because everybody was fighting every single puck drop. So I don't miss those days. I'm glad I kind of got a taste of both. So I like them both for sure, no question.
What was the biggest goal you ever scored?
Well, I would say, and if Mike Schreiber's listening, or if he does watch this, he'll probably disagree, but I'm fairly confident that going back to when we won in 05-06, I'm pretty certain the overtime winning goal in Game 6 in Camrose, Mike Schreiber shot it from the point, and I'm pretty sure it went off my butt, off my pants, and into the net. So technically, I scored it, but yeah, no, not really stand out besides that one. I think that one does because we won. It was great, but yeah, scored a few goals over my career, and that's probably one that stands out the most, I'd say.
If you could create an all-star lineup, 3 forwards, 2 defense, and 1 goalie, they could be playing now or in the past, who would it be?
Oh man, what a question! Jeez, I'd probably go. Oh man, I would go Gretzky, McDavid, Mario Lemieux up front. On the back end, Bobby Orr, and probably Paul Coffey. And then in net, holy cow, take your pick. I don't even know. I'd probably go, he's old. I think he's actually passed away now. Probably Johnny Bauer.
I asked Martin Broder this question on a HSL Zoom call.
And what did he say?
He said Wayne, Lemieux, and Yager.
Oh yeah.
And then he said Paul Coffey and Ray Bork. No,
oh, yeah.
Not Coffey. Scott Stevens. And him in net.
Him in net, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, there's so many good, like Patrick, like list goes on. Patrick Waugh, and there's so many good goalies, even nowadays too. So.
And obviously running the bench, probably you.
Oh yeah, that'd be fantastic. That'd be pretty easy to do, right? Here you go. Go score some goals.
Yeah. If you could steal any player's skill from the NHL, what would it be and from who?
I'm a real big fan of Nathan McKinnon's release. So if I could steal one thing, it would be that, or obviously the freakish speed of Connor McDavid and how he just flies, as you probably watch. So yeah, one of those two things for sure.
If you could be the coach for any team that ever played, who would it be?
I would, holy man, what a question. I've never even thought about that. So off the top of my head, I'm a big, well, not so much now because silly COVID, but I'm a big Las Vegas guy. And before this all happened, the COVID stuff, they had some great crowds, and they got a great, facility and arena there. So it'd be pretty cool to coach Las Vegas. That'd be all right. Good place to live. No snow. So yeah, Las Vegas.
Who do you think is going to win the Stanley Cup this year?
Well, I hope the Oilers. I hope, but probably not. I also hope not. I hope that hopefully you're not a Leafs fan, but I can't have the Leafs win the Cup because my wife and my mother are Leaf fans, and if the Leafs win, I'll never hear the end of it. But they're certainly in the conversation. I think Pittsburgh. I think Sid's got one more in him, whether it's this year or next. I think the shortened season, helps him because he's getting older and, the body's starting to break down a little bit, but he's still obviously phenomenal. But, yeah, I would say Toronto's in there, Pittsburgh. You look at Washington as well. But, it'll be interesting to see for sure.
Yeah, I think Colorado has a strong chance.
Right? I forgot. They're like first in the league, aren't they?
Vegas is.
Oh, Vegas, yeah. And those guys too, like veteran group. They got, Fleury and net. Lots of options.
Yeah. Do you think Ovi will ever beat Gretzky's record for most goals in their career?
I think he's going to be close. I think he's going to be close, and he might even do it. Like he's whatever he is, 33 or 34, I think maybe, or 35. Like, I think, yeah, he's good. He'll be close. I really do, because he's just, as you know, pure goal scorer through and through. So.
Yeah, I think he's going to beat it.
Yeah, no, I think you're right for sure.
Do you miss playing competitive hockey?
You know what? I do. I do. And I haven't even, played a men's league game in 4 or 5 years. Haven't had my gear on in 4 or 5 years. But yeah, no, I do miss it. But like I said earlier, at least I stayed involved with the game, and of course was lucky enough to not be playing, but at least be able to coach and give back that way. But yeah, I'll definitely miss it. But yeah, still thankful that I'm involved in the hockey world for sure in some capacity.
Do you have any advice that you could give me or any other young players to stand out to scouts and people like you?
So, cliche, two things there, Jason. That's a great question, especially now that you're on our radar. But there's two things I believe, and it's old school, but if you're good enough, they will find you. Coaches, GMs, scouts, doesn't matter where you play, HSL, minor hockey, wherever, over in China, doesn't matter. If you're good enough, they'll find you. And then second thing, not just for our program here, but again, in talking to the scouts and people I know over the years, it is really about being a good person, all the time, and kind of being the hockey player second. So 1A, 1B. Character's a big thing nowadays. Scouts, when they call out, even for our guys at the Bantam level, the first thing they ask is, is he a good kid? Is he a good teammate? And so one of the things we're trying to do here is, develop good quality people first, and like I said, hockey players second. So again, 1A, 1B, but it's really important to be a good person because, whether it's in hockey or life after hockey or in hockey, that's the kind of thing that people want on their team or in their job force, whatever it might be. So be a good person.
Yeah, great advice. Well, that's all the time we have. From player to coach to technical director, what a career you've had so far. I want to thank you so much for taking this time with me on Enjoy the Grind. This was a lot of fun, and I'm very happy to have met you. I wish you and your family all the best in Grand Prairie, and good luck to all your teams over the next year. Thanks again, Ryan.
Awesome. Thank you, Jace. Thanks for having me. And I think it's fantastic what you're doing. I love your show. And keep it up, man. And keep the hockey career going. And yeah, thanks for having me. We'll see you in the future, I'm sure.
Yeah. And for those watching, please like and subscribe. And comment down below who you think I should interview next. And thanks for watching.